So this is Super Chicks, and we are going to create the cheesy broccoli rice that is on our Facebook page.
Yep.
But we're going to add chicken to it this time.
Beef it up a little bit, so to speak.
So, onions.
Yep.
We're going to start with some onions. So I'm going to start with 3 tablespoons of butter and 3 tablespoons of flour. I'm going to melt the butter and let it simmer just a little bit. Add the flour and whisk it up. I use real unsalted butter. You
want to
can
be able to control your salt.
But you can use. There's times that I've used olive oil. I lean either between butter or olive oil.
Was this a recipe that you came up with yourself?
Yes. Yeah, it was a take on like the broccoli cheese casserole, and we were turning it into a soup, and so we kind of coined the super roll because it wasn't quite a soup, but it wasn't quite a casserole, so we called it a super roll. Yeah. I use a whisk all the time. I think we're going to try to do a tip thing because there's little things that we like to keep in the kitchen, and even though this makes annoying sounds, it's just easier to work up. Yeah. I have 3 boys, she has 2 girls, and we try to make them kid-friendly as possible, but also adding like some vegetables and stuff in it, and usually kids will eat cheese and broccoli, and but we made this so that you can make it just as a side dish or as an entree, and also add chicken, and we're going to add chicken this time to make it just a little bit more of a full main course. I just like to let my butter simmer. Butter and flour mixture simmer just a little bit. You want to let that cook for about 2 minutes to get the raw taste of the butter. Of the flour. Let the flour cook a little bit. I'm adding in the onion. This is just one small, medium sort of
medium onion.
I'm an onion lover, so I could probably add a big onion to it. And then I kind of just I kind of stir that up, and it's going to sweat out a little bit in that flour and butter mixture.
It smells really good.
We always say that in our videos. We're like, it smells so good, but it does. The onions, butter. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that sweat out for just a couple minutes. Turn that heat down. It gets intimidating to cook, so low and slow is always the way to go. I mean, you can always increase the heat, like cutting off hair. Do baby trims at a time. I can't put hair back on you, but we can take it off a little bit of time. So even if a recipe calls for medium, I always start lower because you just never know. You never know how the heat is going to.
Differently, the pots that you're using conduct heat differently. They're not all going to cook with the same materials. So.
Yeah. But that's what bothers a lot of home people trying to get in the kitchen. Is that burned another one. Because the recipe calls for medium heat or whatever.
Right.
Always start low and see how your food does. Basic tip, but it works.
Yeah.
We do use convenience foods.
Yeah.
Some, but there's so many things that, today we're using broth. If I had my own homemade broth, of course I would use that. Time-wise, I don't have it. Have I made it before? Yes. But so you can use plenty of convenience foods.
Well, just like the roux, and instead of using a can of maybe a cream-based soup, we're doing that for you. It's very simple, but not many people know that actual step. So they open a can first, because it is convenient. Whereas this only took a few minutes, and it's going to give you the same effect and be better. Put 2 cups of cheddar in this today. So I'm going to go and get that grated so we can put that in the end.
The onions have sweated out enough, and now I am using a whole box, which is 4 cups of chicken broth that I got on BOGO. On the recipe on Facebook, we put it as instant rice because literally you can make this in like 10 minutes. Today I'm using what I have in my pantry, which is a more long grain rice. So it can be adapted, but
you can use brown rice, whatever your flavor, jasmine.
Going to actually cook for 20 minutes. The recipe on Facebook is a 10-minute recipe. We have a bag of the frozen broccoli in the microwave right now. We're just going to let that soften up, and we're going to chop that up a little bit more. I'm bringing this to a boil. This is the chicken broth, onions, flour, and butter mixture. I'm going to go ahead and add in my teaspoon of garlic powder. I don't do any salt in this recipe.
Yeah, the cheese, the
Chicken
chicken
broth,
broth,
chicken broth, it's plenty salty for me. Right. Yeah. So, I just put it in there.
So this seems to be a much healthier take on the regular broccoli cheese casserole recipe.
It is. It is. I mean, you got the cheese in there, but
cheese is good for you.
yeah. That's what I tell myself every day. One thing that's convenient about this, it is stovetop, so if you have 10 minutes at home, when you come rushing home, you want to throw something together really quick. You know, I don't ever want to be like, I don't ever use convenience food.
No,
because I do. I mean, but I also want to show how easy it is to not use them. And I think it's just a matter of being prepared. All right, so I just put the 2 cups of the rice in.
Yep.
And this, the recipe on Facebook is going to be an instant rice, but
sure, it'll cook a
it's going to be a 20-minute rice. We're going to really reduce that heat and then put the top on there. The broccoli is almost, actually, it's done. We'll let that cool down because we're going to chop it up.
Yep.
That's going to be lid on, 20 minutes.
Yep.
And we'll try it, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients.
Yep. That'll be ready.
And we're just trying to bring like a little bit of that back. You know, we know that time, even though there was 24 hours in a day back then, you know, and there's 24 hours now, time is different now. It seems like we're just so fast-paced, and we just don't have enough time in the day, and we're lacking on one of the most important parts, which is food for our family. You know, quality food for our family, and it's just we've gotten in this mindset that cheaper and faster is better. And because it's made easy for us, we can easily go and run through a drive-through or buy the box version of it. And because we're losing that, and we got to carry that on through our generation. Okay, so we're going to add in the bag of frozen broccoli that we've chopped up into
pre-cooked and
more
chopped up a little bit.
I'm going to kind of just mix that up all together, and then at the very end, I'm going to add this milk. So just add a little bit and then I'm going to mix it up because this is actually going to sit on the stove for another minute.
Use whole milk?
This is 2%. I've used, we drink skim 1 and 2% in the house, but this one it happens to be 2%.
So just whatever you have available?
Whole milk or a more 2% milk is going to be a richer, kind of creamier. But with the cheese, too, that helps.
It does. It helps thicken it. I wouldn't cook with anything less than 2%.
Yeah. But, if they're watching their waistline, which...
With this dish, I don't think you're going to.
No. And then, so we got this mild mama cheese.
What kind of cheese is that?
This is sharp white cheddar. And that is going to be... We shredded it. You can't buy, you can't at the local grocery store. I like the white look of it, but you can use a cheddar, yellow. It's fine.
I buy the blocks and I shred them in my food processor again.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So this actually, we're converting this recipe a little bit to and adding chicken to this. So we're just going to add. This is just 1/2 of a store-bought rotisserie chicken breast. So
chopped up.
Not the 2 breasts, it's just one of the whole breasts just chopped up, and this will feed, you see how much this is. It'll feed a lot. And I'm going to let this kind of stir it up. And I'm going to cover this and let it marry together.